Imagine that you're a junior high student. Maybe your pants are too short because you hit a growth spurt. You're not always quite sure exactly what you're doing, and you're probably pretty hysterical. You're probably overly nervous to talk to anyone of the opposite sex, so you get really, really loud or really quiet around them. Your parents aren't quite sure what to do with you sometimes. Okay, let's stop that little exercise right there. I do want you to imagine that you're a junior high student, but specifically, I want you to view your Edge Night as a junior high student would view it. From the moment they get out of their parents' car until the moment they get back in, run through the whole night as a core team. We'll get to some of the basics of gather, proclaim, break, and send in a bit, but first, I want you to keep hearing in your mind these words: dynamic, engaging, welcoming, and structured. Because every component of your Edge Night, from the welcome at the door, to the proclaim, to the high fives as they depart, needs to be these 4 things: dynamic, engaging, welcoming, and structured. In going back to our scenario of you as a middle school student, imagine you're coming for the first time. You get out of your mom's car. Do you know what building to go into? Perhaps you know the right building, but do you know the right door? Did anyone greet you outside to help you feel welcome and to direct you in the right direction? Even after you find the right building and the right door, do you know where to go once you get inside? There could be a few meetings going on around the parish grounds. You're going to need some help to get to the right place. All of this is for the purpose of starting off on the right foot, being welcoming and engaging up front. This doesn't just happen by accident, but rather it's intentional. And it means the entire core team has to be working together as a team to enact a plan to welcome and engage the middle school students from moment one. Typically, there's a strong sense of structure when a middle schooler attends an Edge Night. Most parishes, when they gather the youth, will break the room into 2 or 3 sections, depending on if you have 6th through 8th grade students or just 7th and 8th grade students. In each section, there is a set spot for the small group to gather and check in when they arrive. They may run around until the nights get started, but once it starts, they go to their designated spot. This structure creates a general sense of comfort for the youth and provides a quick way to get the night started and to gain control of the middle schoolers. Now that the middle schoolers are ready to go, let's talk about the 4 main components of an Edge Night: the gather, proclaim, break, and send. The quick overview of this is the gather is the welcome and the introduction. There's probably a skit or icebreaker involved, and the purpose is to help draw the middle schoolers into what the topic of the night is. And it also helps to break down some hesitancies with some laughter or different movement. After this welcoming and intro is the proclaim, which is essentially the teaching portion of the night. But this teaching is not necessarily a youth minister standing in front of the room talking for 15 minutes. There are numerous ways to present information, and you want to make sure that this is much more of a dialogue. Think about different things. Can you have a panel discussion? Can you include a teen witness? Audio and video clips are great additions, but not for the entirety of the proclaim, and definitely not every week. Your goal is not simply to throw out a bunch of information, but it's to help the junior high students understand and relate to the information. As a core team, constantly be working on ways to creatively present the information in a way that the middle schoolers will want to grasp it and remember it. Following the proclaim is the break, or what I like to call the part of the meeting where the rubber hits the road. The youth have heard from the Edge leaders concerning a truth of our faith or how to deal with an issue of our world, and the break is where they have the opportunity to mull it over a bit. This will take many forms over the course of an Edge year. Small group discussions, reflection sheets, personal prayer time, discussions with a partner, skit creation, poster board creation, and a whole lot more will make up parts or all of the break portion of the night throughout the year. But this is where the youth have a chance to hear from each other. This is not a part of the night for the small group leader to correct something from the proclaim, to finish a teaching, or give a little speech of their own. Rather, the role of the small group leader here is to facilitate the discussion and whatever other components are part of the plan for that night. At some point, the group regathers as a large group for the send. If there are poster boards or skits from the small groups, they can present them now. But this is a crucial opportunity for two things for the youth minister: a challenge, an invitation to make the topic of the night matter. Give an invitation to do something daily that keeps the teaching relevant in their daily lives. Second, you want to use this time to invite the middle school students to upcoming events such as retreats, social events, or important details for the upcoming Edge Nights. But the main purpose of this part of the gathering is to pray. Now, it's always tempting to plan out the night really well and figure the send will take care of itself as a prayer. But put as much or more into the send, because this is where we get out of the way and we lead our youth into communication with Christ. And that is the whole point of the Edge Night. Let's not sell this short, but rather let's go all in and help our youth experience the many different and rich forms of prayer that our church has to offer. Keep this prayer time for the youth sacred. We aren't sure how much prayer time they will have in the rest of their week, and we know that their weeks are full of busyness. So let's not cram more busyness into our Edge Nights that we don't have time to help them enter into prayer. Okay, let's go back to where we started. You were a junior high student and you were going through your entire parish Edge Night, but you're going to have a 4-word chorus ringing through your head the entire time: dynamic, engaging, welcoming, structured. Because we want our entire Edge Night to be all of these things. Yes, we want our gather to be dynamic, engaging, welcoming, and structured. We want our youth to have a feeling of comfort when they come in, and having a bit of routine helps us feel comfortable. But at the same time, we don't want to be stuck in a rut. We want it to be dynamic and engaging. And that's your challenge, to take the 4 components of an Edge Night and make them fit into the reality of your parish's time and space. But you also want to keep your standards high in your planning and executing. So your homework going forward as a core team is to walk through your Edge Night from the moment you would get out of your parents' car until the moment you get back in. Was every component of that experience dynamic, engaging, welcoming, and structured? If not, what are you going to do to step up your game? God has called you and your team to this awesome ministry, and I want to thank you for your yes. We as a movement desire strongly to support parishes in their quest to lead teens closer to Christ. We are honored and humbled to be working with such giving people as yourselves. Know that you're not alone in this ministry, and we're here to support you and would love to chat with you about how you can go about working to make your Edge ministry more dynamic, engaging, welcoming, and structured. Don't hesitate to reach out and ask for help. We are all on the same team, and we have all the same goals in mind, which is leading the youth of our parishes to Christ.